I'm going to now be asking some people who have volunteered to come and speak and to share their experiences of Alan to come up. And the order is in the little booklet that you have. And so I'll ask Marc, my brother-in-law and partner, to come and share his thoughts. He was very intimately involved with Alan. So, Marc.
It still hasn't really set in. Nothing really prepares you for something like this. And Alan was a type of individual that impacted lives. He impacted lives in the business world. He impacted lives of friends, anybody that he came into contact with. I was traveling in 2003 in Texas with Shane G, and we had a dealer down there, and the dealer's name was Dudley Bain. And we were in the process of putting together a plan of how to grow the company. And Peter and I had sat down and we looked at, where do we want to place sales guys out in the field and where the potential is. And one of them that we looked at very closely was California. And Dudley said, I know a guy who works with Mezzo. He's not that happy right now. His name's Alan Tindall. And he told me a little bit about Alan. That afternoon I picked up the phone, I called Alan, and a week later he was on a plane on a Saturday coming to visit us here. We met at the Steak and Ale down the road here, and it took me about 5 minutes and I knew this was the guy that we needed. As Peter had spoken, a man with integrity, a man that was respectful, that was just a very, very high character. And it didn't take very long to realize that. So when, when we were looking at developing that area out there, we needed somebody that could come in and that could be a pioneer. And Alan was a pioneer of this industry. The industry that we're in, these plastic and rubber screen panels, there are few people in the world today that have had as much of an impact in the industry as Alan Tindall has. He was with us going on his 12th year, but he was in the industry for like 25, 30 years. You talk about experience and expertise, he had it all. In fact, when it came to hiring new sales guys, they all went out to California because that's where we wanted to get them trained. Because Alan was a model. He was a model of a regional manager. He did all the right things. He taught me a lot. And I remember when I hired him and went and traveled with him, it was, we would, I told Alan, I said, Alan, this is a full-time job. You kind of clock in, but you don't clock out. And I didn't know who I was talking to at the time. But little did I know, I started getting phone calls on the East Coast at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, it's Alan Tindall. And he worked so hard, and he enjoyed what he did. And when I went out there and traveled with him to get him going and everything, after a couple of trips, I didn't really need to go anymore, but I wanted to go because I enjoyed traveling with him. He was that type of person. You enjoyed going into customers and engaging customers. He made it fun, and he had fun. And that was one of the things that he did, was he lived his life to the fullest, at work and personally. Peter had mentioned about, his living in San Diego and his vacations, and when we sat down and I interviewed him, that was, two of the points right away was, okay, I'm not moving, because we really wanted somebody in Northern California. And he said, no, I'm living in San Diego. And he said, I take 3-week vacations with my wife. And we said, okay, no problem. He was that good. And, he spoke very spoke a lot about his wife Dominique, her cooking, which I had the privilege of experiencing more than one occasion at her house, and the hospitality. And Alan was polydeck out in California. I mean, he was polydeck. And if you go and talk to our customers or talk to people about polydeck, it's Alan. He was the guy. He was the face of the company. And, you know, companies that are successful, like ourselves have been successful today, it's because of people like Alan that make impacts and that work hard, and it's not only just what they do with their own hands, it's how they impact other people. And Alan was the type of person that when he came into the room, he made everybody else better. There's few people in the world that are that way. And there are few people in the world that, you enjoy being around all the time. And that was the type of person Alan was, is you enjoyed being around him all the time. It was never a dull moment. It was fun. He will be missed. But he had a huge impact on this company. He touched a lot of lives. He had a huge impact on my life. And he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot in terms of character and business. And there's a lot of things we do today in the way we take care of our customers because of the way Alan took care of his customers. And as Peter said, there were a lot of difficult phone calls that came from the West Coast at times where Alan said, look, we need to do this and that, and it's going to happen. And we're like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean it's going to happen? Well, it's going to happen. And it was his conviction and forceful nature in standing up for the customer in what made him successful. And he fought for his customers, and in that way he fought for us. And he helped build a legacy for us out in California. And I could stand here and talk for hours about Alan, and the last couple of weeks have been very difficult. But I know we've got other speakers to come up here, and I just want to say how sorry I am to Dominique, and I want to let her know how blessed that I feel that Alan and yourself were in our lives. And Alan will be dearly missed. He will not be forgotten, and he was a wonderful man, wonderful man. Okay, thank you.